and motherhood, but I think about Martha in 1960 when the play was set. Life was so different for women then, so much more restricted. She is intelligent, ambitious, energetic, and as she confesses, she worships her father, who was the president of the university. She so desires to please him. Her father has crippled her by not seeing who she is or what she has to offer. She had briefly married the lawnmower, as they referred to the gardener at the boarding school she attended. That made her a damaged person to her father. If it were today, she could have aspired to be a university president herself, or do some other career of her choosing. That would have given her life a whole new purpose, a whole new meaning. But it's 1960. So her ambitions had to be channeled, funneled, achieved by a man, her father before she was married, and thereafter her husband. As much as she and George love each other, and always have, it's been a terrible disappointment to her that he has shared none of her ambitions, and certainly will not be the heir to her father's presidency. After 25 years, George is still an associate professor. You have to work hard to fail that much. And without children, what does she have? She gets to be on committees of faculty wives, to have a spring Easter egg hunt, or a Christmas party, or crap like that, which means nothing to her. She doesn't have any standing other than as her father's daughter, or as her husband's wife. She's not a mother, can't be a baby maker, so she doesn't have that title of respect. Today, we women tend to have more options, not fewer, as we get older. Martha had almost none as she approached her 50s. This time of life that is to me so freeing, to Martha, must have been terribly stifling. So she sits in the empty house day after day, and she starts drinking, which I think many would do, frankly, in that situation. I think I would, if I were sitting around with all that ability but no way to see that I could do something fruitful with it, or do something that used my abilities or challenged my mind. It would be dreadful. Anyone would feel defeated and might overeat or drink or do drugs. Perhaps some exceptional women would have found another private outlet, such as writing, that they could control on their own. But I think that would be the exception, and that they would have been seen as abnormal by the rest of society. Martha chafes at the irrational boundaries, but not in a political way. Her behavior has no boundaries. She has no limits, physically or vocally. She just throws herself around without any thought as to the proper behavior. Poor woman. I started out feeling very angry with her, quite disgusted, and I thought, oh, stop it. Pull yourself together, this is rubbish. But then, more and more, I began to empathize with her. This happens to me often with characters, since I play so many awful ones. They turn out to be more interesting than the good girls. You always know what a good girl is going to do. You never know what a bad girl is going to do. It is much more fun. I didn't see the whole film, and I've never seen a stage production of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Knowing always that I wanted to do Martha, I would never willingly want to have someone else's performance in my head. But in my readings of it, I always thought it was extremely funny. I saw big laughs. I never understood why no one spoke of it that way. I like a hard-edged humor, and that's definitely Virginia Woolf to me. The little I saw of the Richard Burton Elizabeth Taylor film I disliked immensely, but I think that's because it was performed with acceptance of the culture of the time rather than a questioning of it. It seemed to me that their George and Martha were just two drunks screaming at each other and tearing each other apart for a night. I didn't understand this at all, because my perception reading the play had been so very different. With most characters, I find I go through stages where I truly dislike them. Then I start to find the reasons for their behavior. Then I start to have sympathy for them.